Pac-12 women's soccer under the lights tonight in Pullman as Micaiah Maness and Washington State welcome in the Oregon Ducks. Welcome into the booth at Lower Soccer Field. I'm Trevor Williams, and for the rest of our crew, we're so glad to have you with us tonight for what should be another great match of Pac-12 women's soccer. The last time Washington State was home, the Cougars were propelled by a fourth goal of the season for Grayson Lynch. Grayson Lynch, one of the cogs that really turns the top of this Cougar attack, and it's one of the best attacks in the nation at generating shots. And Washington State can score goals in bunches, as they did there against Utah a couple weeks back at home. A weekend in which the Cougars were able to grab two decisions. The second one making their head coach, Todd Schulenberger, the all-time winningest head coach in Washington State history. Picked up his 89th win, and he has taken the program to new heights for WSU, highlighted by the College Cup run that Washington State made just a few years back. Oregon this year has played one of the toughest schedules in the country, and Leah Freeman, their goalkeeper, is tremendous in between the pipes. For her career, she has posted 18 shutouts, which is the Oregon record, and the Duck goalkeeper leading the Pac-12 in saves this year with 77, and that's how she stacks up against reigning Pac-12 goalkeeper of the year, Nadia Cooper, on the Cougar side. Goals could be at a premium tonight, and in the Pac-12 standings, both teams looking to make a move here on an important weekend for these teams in which they play just one match, and we'll see who can get it done tonight from Pullman. Oregon and Washington State are starting lineups, and opening kick coming up next here on Pac-12 Plus. Nearing kickoff here tonight in Pullman, Washington State and Oregon for this Friday night Pac-12 soccer action. Glad to have you with us from the Lower Soccer Field to see Washington State outfitted in the pink kits tonight as the Cougars are honoring breast cancer awareness tonight at the Lower Soccer Field in Pullman. Welcoming in an Oregon Ducks team that is 4-5-4 on the year, but sticking in there well in RPI, coming in at 41 tonight. You see the starting lineup for the Ducks this evening. Zoe Hassenauer, tonight's start makes her Oregon's all-time record holder for starts with her 85th. And Leah Freeman, the junior goalkeeper from Berkeley, who's going to be tested tonight by a Washington State attack that puts up a ton of shots. She is in goal for the Ducks. For Todd Schulenberger's Washington State Cougars, they look like this. Their usual in goal and sophomore goalkeeper Nadia Cooper, who's got a 1 goal against average this year and 18 career wins. Other than that, for Washington State, plenty of attacking. As we mentioned, the Cougars average 21 shots per match. That's 4th nationally, 2nd in the Pac-12. Grayson Lynch, you see there, a senior from Castle Rock, Colorado, has 4 goals this season, 15 on her career, and she's one of the players that makes things go for Washington State. Oregon will open with possession tonight. Megan McCain, our head referee. Rob Maas, Cole Johnson, and Joe Walters are the assistant and alternate officials tonight in Pullman. Beautiful night for soccer, as the weather has stayed tremendous in the Pacific Northwest here through the early season. Megan Rucker touching it to the middle to Kess Elmore, messing it up in the box. Trinity Morales in the area. Nadia Cooper comes out with it for the Cougars. Oregon 2-3 in Pac-12 play this year. Washington State is 2-2-1. Hassenauer with it at her feet, plays it straight through to Cooper. An important one-match weekend for these two teams. Oregon trying to get back to the 500 cut line for the NCAA tournament. We mentioned their RPI is good, 41. So they've played one of the toughest schedules in America. Bree McReynolds looking for a quick touch. Freshman counterpart Lily Boyden. Cougars played it out. Mentioned Washington State trying to bounce back after a tough weekend last weekend. Fell in 2-1 finals at Stanford and at Cal Sunday and Friday. And then Oregon last week, a win on the road at Utah, but fell 1-0 to Colorado to cap the weekend. Takeaway here in the midfield. Oregon with a chance to attack the other direction with Rucker. Rucker to Hassenauer. Coming up to challenge Akila McLean. Hassenauer play it back. Cougars pressing into the midfield. Alice Barbieri had it for a moment. Hassenauer is going to draw a lot of eyes. And again, she tries to play a through ball. Was looking to run it to Elmore, but Nadia Cooper once again there to collect it for the Cougars. After last weekend, Washington State now sits 5th in the Pac-12, own a tiebreaker over Colorado. There's an attack to the outside by Boyden. Boyden crossing it in. Was trying to find Lynch. Instead, Akila McLean will run it down on the backside. Quick step, she'll cross one. Again, Lynch in the area. This will turn into a counter for the Ducks. Coming forward with it, Lexi Romero. In space, had to play it back deep midfield with Morales. Chai Cortez bringing it cross field on a square pass to Rucker. A lot of build here for Oregon to the top of the 16. Cortez lets it rip, and well too high. See Nadia Cooper. The 1-0-1 goals against average. Save percentage, though, has been down 68% for Cooper on the season. And Todd Schulenberger this week was talking about Washington State needing to mitigate some mistakes that have led to counters and put the Cougs in bad position defensively, put their goalkeeper in tough positions to try to make stops. 5th minute early action tonight here in Pullman. Graham Abel, head coach of the Ducks, his assistant Rachel Doyle there behind Reese Tappet on the throw-in. Doyle played for the Cougars about a decade ago now. Into the corner for Grayson Lynch, and he'll go out the end line. And then Graham Abel, formerly a Washington State assistant, 2010 to 2012. He actually recruited Doyle at Washington State. Recruited Doyle again to get her on the staff at Oregon. Grayson Lynch has been the early target of the Washington State attack here in the first 5 minutes. One note on numbers on the field, you'll notice tonight with the alternate pink uniforms for Washington State, Sydney Studer has changed from number 3 to number 34. Fancy footwork by Lynch. She's trying to find a way to earn a cross in. Instead, it's McLean buying a little space into the box. It's cleared off by Hassenauer. Now stepping up to it was Alice Barbieri. Rucker surveying forward. Has an opportunity for Romero. Kaya Maness, one of the standout defenders for Washington State, was trying to pin Romero in the corner there. Reese Tappan, the young outside back, trying to flank to it. Oregon getting an opportunity for Morales, and then Rucker at the top of the box. So pardon me, Elmore at the top of the box with the shot high. Looks like on that shot there was a flag up for the offsides. See Sydney Studer with that number 34 there. So now tonight just one number separates her and her younger sister, Jenna Studer, wears 33 for the Cougars. Also starting tonight for Todd Schulenberger in the midfield. There is Jenna Studer. And that kick out of net by Cooper. Tappan playing it up. Bree McReynolds, former Oregon State Beaver rival of these Ducks, is trying to get free. Nice quick turn by Rican. Up for Boyden. Boyden wide to McReynolds. Reverses. Back to Boyden, top of the box. Studer wanted one more pass. It was off target. Nice play to get in there by Romero. McLinn tees it up again. Boyden getting to it. Dangerous opportunity brewing for Washington State. Boyden off of Freeman, and then it just got away from Grayson Lynch. Right idea for the Cougars. A right hand to it for Leah Freeman, but Grayson Lynch, that deflected it away from her enough that she could not finish there for Washington State in the 8th minute. Boyden unable to keep it in along the far sideline. Best opportunity in the early going for the Cougars, who were without a shot in the early portions of this match. 18 career shutouts for Leah Freeman. That's the Oregon record holder. Leads the Pac-12 in saves per game, save percentage. And she just recently moved into qualifying for first all-time in Oregon's goals against average for a career. 0.06 of a point under 1 goal per match. Boyden with Turner touching it. Washington State said that it bounced off a hand. No whistle came. It's a young sophomore midfielder for Todd Schulenberger in Lindsey Turner, who has carved out a pretty regular starting role for the Cougars, transfer from UC Riverside. She played over 1,000 minutes last year. Croy Soto not bothered with that center back spot for Oregon. And Morales trying to play it forward for Romero. And Maness will end up just letting her defensive unit reorganize. Lexi Romero getting a lot of touches early on the right flank for Oregon. Transfer from Air Force 3 years ago as the Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Year, when she scored 14 goals, had 33 points. She scored twice this year for Oregon. This time trying to earn a cross in. Does in front of net. Cooper stops it once. It's followed for a goal by Morales. And Oregon takes the lead here tonight in Pullman. Trinity Morales sticking with it. Set up by Romero. Bounded off of Cooper. And Morales on 2 tries gives Oregon a 1-0 lead here in the 10th minute. Kind of the similar fate that Washington State faced on the road against California last week in an early goal. And the Ducks have a 1-0 advantage. Morales. It probably won't be an assist credited for Lexi Romero, but deserves credit for the work she did to get it in front of net. Oregon coming out and throwing the first punch tonight on the Palouse. Throw-in coming for Washington State. After everything Oregon knew all week about the Cougars, how many shots they pull off, it's the first 3 shots belonging to the Ducks. And well played there in front of net, right to Morales. As soon as she had Cooper down to the deck, just stayed with it, stumbling her way to the net to score her 2nd goal of her young freshman season. One of the top recruits in a class that was in the top 25 for Graham Abel coming in this year. The number 104 player nationally, but a 4-star recruit from Tucson, Arizona, South Point Catholic. Morales hadn't scored since September 16th against Portland. So already the freshman getting a good feel for the regional rivalries, trying to spark the Ducks here tonight on the road against a team that they haven't had a ton of success against in Washington State. Picked off upfield, quick touch. Anna Phillips had it. It's back to Lily Boyden for the Cougars. Let's see if Washington State has a youngster that can make a move. Boyden does, top of the box, couldn't collect her feet. Sydney Studer has to be the one to chase it down and offers it back. Studer changes direction. Trying to knock it off of Hassenauer to get a corner kick, but instead just throwing for WSU. We mentioned the struggles that Oregon has had against Washington State. Trinity Morales trying to change that tonight. Last Oregon win against the Cougars came in 2011 in Eugene, a 1-0 final. Brianna McReynolds calling it off of Oregon, and it did touch Alice Barbieri. Says our official tonight, Megan McCain, so it'll be a corner kick coming for McReynolds and Washington State. McReynolds trying to help the Cougars answer right back. No shots to this point for WSU in the 13th minute. Corner kick served in. It was Sydney Studer on it. A little collision with Rieken and Freeman, and a hand goes up. A foul against Bridget Rieken of Washington State. Just a talking to from the officials. There's actually no foul. It was a flag up for an offside call. Flag just happened to go up right outside of the 6. Rieken, the senior defender from Coeur d'Alene, trying to get into the action. Sydney Studer, Bridget Rieken, they are the dangerous targets when Washington State has corner kick opportunities. Rucker doing a heck of a job to try to keep it in, and Grayson Lynch a little too heavy on the touch. Lynch busy early. No start for Margie DeTrizio tonight for Washington State. DeTrizio, the Cougars' leading goal scorer, 7 goals and 5 assists this year, both top 10 marks in the Pac-12. Notably not a starter tonight for Todd Schulenberger in Washington State. So the Cougars without a little bit of that power at the top of the attack. Despite that, Washington State does have 11 different goal scorers. Team that's averaging 2 goals per match. Studer, the younger Studer, Jenna Studer, in a collision there in the midfield. Oregon emerges with it. Hassenauer to Rucker. McClynn's marking it well. Now Romero will see if she can beat Miness to the end line. Does not. Has to float it back out to Hassenauer. Spins out of a double team. And Hassenauer trying to go far post. Tappan's going to be the one to race it down for the Cougars. Opening third of the first half. Oregon a 1-0 lead. 10th minute goal for Trinity Morales. Cougars playing far side. Boyden. A step and across into traffic. Cleared off by Soto. Croy Soto stepping up once again for Oregon. 5'10 senior from Pasadena. All Pac-12 second team last year. Missed the first 8 games this year for the Ducks. Again, Boyden trying to cross this time off of Oregon for a corner kick. It grazed Chai Cortez. So Brandon McReynolds will take a second corner kick for the Cougars here tonight. Again, Rican and Sydney Studer lurking at the top of the 6. It goes short to Boyden instead. Now redirects high to Turner. Turner had a little space working it back right. McReynolds was able to spring off the line, but the pass just a little behind her. She does some good work to get back to it, gives Sydney Studer an opportunity, and Studer a little high and wide. Trying to deliver from distance for Washington State in the 17th minute. Brianna McReynolds made that play possible for the Cougars. Registered as the first shot for Washington State here in tonight's match. Oregon has 4 and a goal already in the early going. Rican able to undercut and fend off Elmore for the throw-in. Morales, the early goal scorer. Trying to block out a little space in the midfield. A missed kick comes right to McReynolds. She was tripped up briefly by Barbieri, collects it back, out wide for Turner. Reese Tappan. She can place a really nice ball from the top of the area. Instead, tried a little give and go with Turner. But Oregon successfully clearing it out of their box, back to Rican. And the Cougars will build it back through their goalkeeper, Cooper. Space and flip the field to the near side. McLean so good in space. McReynolds trying to place it through for Boyden. And again, it's just a little too far out in front for the Cougars. They've had a couple of those looks here in this first half. Oregon doing a good job defensively of occupying some good spaces here defensively. Todd Schulenberger mentioned earlier this week, it's something that really impresses him about Graham Abel's teams is their ability to defend you hard. And he knew it would be a big fight tonight, especially against an Oregon team that we mentioned is trying to get back to the 500 mark. 4 draws, 5 losses, 4 wins for the Ducks this year, and a foul in the midfield, Sydney Studer with the push on Barbieri. Barbieri, a sophomore, has played in every match for the Ducks. Oregon has had 22 different starters this year, team plagued by injuries, especially in the month of September. But it's led to a ton of experience for the Ducks that they can use into the later half of Pac-12 play. Big ball for Lynch. Freeman comes off the line to collect it on a skip. Tappan played that in for Grayson Lynch, who was ever so close to capping it on the back end. Again, Leah Freeman controls space well for Oregon. Helped the Ducks get to a draw against the Cougars here 2 seasons ago. A COVID year, the only year, actually one of 2 years only that Todd Schulenberger has missed the postseason in his Cougar career. 8 seasons, now the all-time winningest coach at Washington State with 89. But Leah Freeman was especially special on that day a couple years ago. Made huge saves down the stretch to preserve it for the Ducks. What was a point tallying result on the road in Pullman for Oregon 2 years back. Oregon's built some good possession tonight as well. Rucker taking a little time on the throw-in to find the right spot. And Sydney Studer pokes it away there. Chance for the Cougars to reverse it to Boyden, but that's Phillips running it down along the far edge. And again, gets it out of the area so that Washington State has to reset things. Oregon doing a nice job here in the early going. They scored 11 minutes ago, courtesy of Trinity Morales. Grayson Lynch. 2 Ducks marking her. Well, splits the difference. Sydney Studer out wide to Turner. McReynolds nearly volleyed it. Sydney Studer, that's a pretty easy play for Leah Freeman. Freeman with her 78th save of the season on that. Has a Pac-12 Goalkeeper of the Week honor to her name this year, and boy, that was a heck of a kick out of net. Spring it forward for Oregon. McLinn steps the pass. Big ball up, we'll watch the bounce here. Nadia Cooper sees it true. It's good surface in Pullman, redone. It's probably actually more like 6 or 7 years ago now. It hardly doesn't feel that long for Washington State since they redid the turf here in Pullman. They added a beautiful new press box, grandstand, one of the premier facilities in the Pac-12 for soccer. Grayson Lynch stepping into a misplayed pass from distance. Again, another nice save by Freeman. It's going to be tougher for Washington State to convert the shots from distance tonight. It's Leah Freeman very sure-handed in front of net. And another booming kick away from goal. All McLinn could do was put a forehead on it to get it out of play. Nevertheless, Grayson Lynch saw that opportunity in the space, wanted to give it a shot. The Cougars without their leading goal scorer in the early going here tonight, Margie DiTrizio, who's top 10 nationally in her shots per match. That's a storyline to watch tonight. How will Washington State respond so far without their leading goal scorer? Oregon making the first substitution of the evening. Anna Emperor, the freshman from Elk Grove, California, checking in. Part of, as we mentioned, this top 25 recruiting class for Oregon. The youngsters have been delivering this season for the Ducks. It's a productive freshman class. 8 of the team's 14 assists on goals have come from freshmen. Lynch setting it down in the midfield. And Boyden challenged well by Phillips. Now Lynch offers another in. Big stop by Freeman, and she catches it off the rebound. Jenna Studer, the target on the back end. Nearly a brilliant header taken away by Freeman. Notch another gold star for the junior goalkeeper from Eugene. What a beautiful buildup by Washington State. And Grayson Lynch saw that opportunity with a breaking Studer. And man, Freeman not only knocking it up but making the save, and the Cougars try to counter the other way. Freeman sprawled high for it, and no touch signaled by the officials. Now they will say it was grazed by Freeman. No, the hand is still out for a goal kick. And now they are calling it a corner. Boy, both sides jawing about this call. As Washington State just a moment ago, as we were going through that replay, the Cougars countered back and got a shot off on Leah Freeman. It was from Brianna McReynolds, who right away was saying that Freeman tipped it up over the crossbar. So Phillips trying to head the corner out of there, and she might have taken a knee to the chin from Micaiah Maness, or at least the ball deflecting up into Anna Phillips. Past the halfway mark of this first half, 1-0 Oregon. And already a flurry of big saves by Leah Freeman. Outstanding work by the junior goalkeeper tonight. Quick touch to Tappan out wide. Boyden. Boyden's going to cross it, and Freeman gobbles it up in the air. Takes away that crossing opportunity. Freeman with 4 saves already to take her Pac-12 leading total into the 80s. The quick counter for Romero. It's courtesy of the new check-in Emperor Adair. But Maness able to turn it back out for the Cougars, and Akila McLean, who has some room. Played Lynch into the sideline. Emperor Adair closed it down quickly. But now McReynolds trying to play it side of the foot. And Oregon recovers. Raleigh and Emperor Adair, and then Lynch into the back of Emperor Adair. Crowd active tonight in Pullman, trying to will their Cougars back to an equalizer in the first half. Over 1,000 fans per match make their way into the lower soccer field here in Pullman, Washington, that ranks 17th nationally. And what we've mentioned is one of the premier soccer environments in women's college soccer. Upfield, McLean was able to sky over Romero. It'll remain Oregon possession. And a couple Washington State substitutions coming. And good news for the Cougars, one of those substitutions is their leading goal scorer, Margie DeTrizio. They also bring in another big offensive target in Mackenzie Frimpong Ellertson. So a junior in DeTrizio and a senior in Frimpong Ellertson who will try to make a difference here. So we mentioned DeTrizio, who has 14 career goals, 7 on the season. Did not start tonight for Washington State. But now the Cougars are going to get a little late half life, and right away it's to Boyden with a little space. Boyden with a left foot. Freeman plays it well. 5th save for Leah Freeman already. And she has been comfortable on her couple trips to Pullman in front of net. Has played some excellent matches here against the Cougars. Off to a great start tonight. Reese Tappan reads the goal kick. And now Frimpong Ellertson into it. Frimpong Ellertson and DeTrizio add a lot of length as well. And you see DeTrizio tripled up there and fouled. So a set piece coming from about 35 out for Washington State. Yeah, long strides, speed for DeTrizio and Frimpong Ellertson. They're very tough competitors in the Pac-12, and we'll see how Oregon responds to them defensively. DeTrizio is certainly going to garner a lot of attention here for the remainder of the first half. Grayson Lynch to take this off the foul. Lynch chips it in. Freeman with the catch. Opts just to roll it out to Raleigh. Again, a deflection in the midfield leads to an attack for Washington State. DeTrizio keeps it from distance. Tried a turf burner that was scooped up by Freeman. Boy, Freeman has been busy here in the first 30 minutes. 6 saves already for the junior. In case you're wondering, tallied 14 against the Cougars' rival, the University of Washington, earlier this year. And that was the most by an Oregon goalkeeper in 19 years. She might have that kind of night in front of her again tonight in Pullman. The Cougars have already tallied 7 shots. Oregon had the first 4 of the match, including a 10th-minute goal from Trinity Morales, as she stayed with a ball in front of net and gave Oregon the match's only goal to this point. A lot of 50-50 here in the midfield, and Reese Tappan wanted to play it through, but Phillips got in there. McLean reading the wide pass well for the Cougars. Lynch. Fancy footwork brings down an Oregon defender. Cougars trying to probe to find a way to their frontline attackers. DeTrizio bouncing around at the top of the 18. Goes by way of the wide side of the field now. Barbieri clears another one out for Oregon. Good entertaining first half here from these two teams. Barbieri and Frimpong Ellertson were locked up in the midfield. Ended up being Caitlin McCullough who checked in here of late for Oregon as well, who came away with it. Phillips was a little bit rushed. Cougars putting a lot of pressure on. It's going to come back to Rieken and play it back to Cooper. Cooper can pick it up. She'll keep it at her feet instead, and McLean steps into Hasenauer. It comes back Romero, and a great stop by Makai Maness. Elicits a huge cheer from this Cougar crowd, and Maness room to carry. DeTrizio, quick touch, Frimpong Ellertson, and she was thinking wide for Grayson Lynch, but they were not on the same wavelength on that play. Back to Oregon it goes. Makai Maness, brilliant 1v1 defense. Helped keep Oregon out of the box to keep this a 1-0 match. Quickly possession won back by Washington State. McLean wide with Lynch. Lynch crosses high. Tappan could try to chip it back in. Instead knocked it off McCullough. Tappan again serves it in. Boyden touched it. DeTrizio, what a turn, but high. DeTrizio's talented. The footwork is there for the junior to be able to convert plays like that, and she nearly did settle and turn it. On the 8th shot of the night for Washington State, Grayson Lynch will get a breather for the remainder of the half.
Alyssa Gray.
So I have to be so careful with DeTrizio. She backs off defenders really well, and there just couldn't get it settled to a point where she could get a shot on frame. Alyssa Gray, Marin Wilden come in for Washington State. Like a high kick called to the midfield. About 10 minutes to go here in the first half. It was whistled on Romero to give it back to Washington State. Oregon's been a little bit back on its heels now after having some of the early possession forward in this match. The Cougars are really pressing and challenging the midfield, and then relying on their talented back line to keep things clean behind and in front of Nadia Cooper. Akila McLean trying to keep it in along the side. The officials will flag it out. one of the new check-ins for Washington State, Melissa Gray. 45th career match. Just last weekend, crossed over the 2,000-minute mark in her career. 2002 coming into play tonight. Hassenauer, it hit left shoulder of Wilden. Cortez around Tappan. Cortez staying with it though. Was trying to find Kristen Conti. Barbieri wrapped up with Wilden, and it is a foul against Wilden of Washington State. Said that incorrectly a second ago. It was not the freshman Kristen Conti in, but still Megan Rucker, who is working there at the top of the box. Only subs so far in the half for Oregon from the starters, Imperador and McCulloch. Wilden, one of 4 Washington State substitutes here in the first half. Tetrizio, Gray, Wilden, Frimpong, Ellertson. Glenn trying to head it forward. Plenty of time for Maness to survey. Gray trying to keep the pressure on. And now Freeman challenged by Tetrizio, who did get a foot on it. Now Sydney Studer trying to serve it. Gray tied up, won the battle. Wilden. Oh, she was trying to play it through wide to McClin, but it hit some friendly fire, and Sydney Studer. Counter for Romero and the Ducks. Rucker trying to get there. So it was Elmore near side trying to get there, but still Rican won the battle. And Gray shoved in the midfield by Imperador. Todd Schulenberger wants to press the tempo here. 7 minutes left in the half. Cougars still hedge up. Nice play by Turner to immediately spin it right back around to Washington State's possession. From the middle of the half on, it's been pretty solely Cougar possession with a couple Oregon counters. Hassenauer, middle of the field. Rican presses up to take it away. Ball was played first with Tappan tripped up in the midfield. And Phillips won it free. Romero was the target there. Maness, though, got in the lane. Cougars fine to bring that back line up. They've been in the passing lanes for Oregon, who's been trying to work a big counter off of the aggressive play from Washington State. McClin firing over Tappan's head. 5.5 minutes left here in the first half. Ducks will make another addition. Graham Abel looking on. These Ducks with a 1-0 lead over Washington State. See Kess Elmore getting a breather here at the end of the half. Caitlin Pakolba, sophomore, former 100-meter champion in Orange County, California, getting an opportunity. See what kind of speed she can apply in the late minutes of the first half for Oregon. Maybe a player the Ducks think can find a seam in some of these countering opportunities. Frimpong, Ellertson, and Phillips, a physical battle to the ball. His last touch by Rican. Still, if you could tell Oregon that they would hang the first 4 shots of the match and get a 1-0 lead into halftime, I think Graham Abel and the Ducks would take that. They've kept Washington State a little under their shot pace on the season as well. An 8-4 shot advantage for the Cougars, but 6 saves by Leah Freeman. Freeman has been as advertised tonight for Oregon. Hasnauer certainly a countering opportunity. Romero now does have that speed of Pacoba, but Rican has the angle. And now Rican turns it the other way with a little space. Frimpong Ellerson trying to make a late run, and DeTrizio nearly took away a pass. Instead, Sydney Studer runs into it. Still an opportunity brewing for Washington State. Gray crossing. One deflection, Frimpong Ellerson. And it was backed by Raleigh for Oregon. Another cross in. Freeman punches it wide. Now just trying to keep it in is Cortez, and she does. Leah Freeman batting it out of the danger zone for Oregon. Few minutes left in the half. Washington State desperately trying to make it a new ball game into half number 2. Cougars trying to find a spot. Tap into Frimpong Ellerson. Barbieri keeps it away from DeTrizio. Oregon is looking to work Caitlin Shaw into the mix before the end of the half. We'll see if her substitution makes it here in the final 2 minutes. McLinn. That brushed Phillips, and a corner kick is coming for Washington State. Phillips was trying to get ahead on it against Frimpong Ellerson. Instead, a 4th corner kick for Washington State. It's Todd Schulenberger setting this up for the Cougars. We mentioned now the all-time wins leader at Washington State. He has a career record against the Ducks of 5-0-2. But playing from behind tonight in Pullman, Gray sets it up on the corner. Ball stays high. McCullough looked like had the initial play that got it away from net for Oregon. And now Romero, for a moment, thought she would break it free, but Washington State collects it back. Final minute of the first half.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining in the half.
Does Washington State have a 10th shot to complete the first half? Still hunting an equalizer here at the end of the first 45. Gray wiggling free. Taken away, headed back by Sydney Studer. But again, Belle Raleigh in helping the Oregon center backs keep it away from Leah Freeman. Try to reduce what's already been a busy night for their goalkeeper, who's made 7 saves in the opening 45 minutes. Played back by Tappan to Cooper. Ooh, Cooper going right back to Tappan at the feet. Less than 10 seconds now in the half.
5, 4.
Not much left here for Washington State, and that is how the first half will end in Pullman. Oregon nabs a 10th minute goal courtesy of Trinity Morales, and the Ducks hang on the rest of the half thanks to excellent goalkeeping by Leah Freeman. 7 first half saves, and the Ducks, the only tally of the night so far. It's Oregon 1, Washington State nothing. We'll break, and we'll come back close to the start of the second half, about 15 minutes away here tonight in Pullman. Ducks at the half on the road trying to spoil this home weekend for the Cougars. 1-0 Oregon after 45. Get ready for half number 2 in Pullman. 1-0 the Oregon lead after the opening 45 minutes. Trevor Williams and the rest of our Pac-12 crew here inside of the lower soccer field in Pullman, Washington. And early on for Oregon, it was Trinity Morales, the freshman, delivering for the Ducks. Lexi Romero started this play. She was able to work it in front for Morales, who just stayed with it. Not a clean catch for Nadia Cooper, and a couple tries to tap it home for Morales, her second goal of her freshman season. And that got Oregon off and running in the first 10 minutes of play tonight. And then the Ducks turned to their goalkeeper, Leah Freeman. Freeman, awfully talented. We knew that coming in, and she has shined bright tonight for Oregon. 7 saves in the first half. None bigger than this one. Grayson Lynch tried to set up an opportunity for a header for Jenna Studer. And you see Freeman not only popping it up, but also making the catch with her shoulder blades pressed to the ground. One of those 7 saves for Freeman, and even when it hasn't been direct on net, she's been really good at timing, coming off the line, getting balls out of dangerous areas, and allowing her Oregon team opportunities to collect, as that was late in the first half for the Ducks. Oregon had the first 4 shots of the match. All 10 cents have belonged to Washington State, but those 7 saves really big up there for Oregon, as they have been able to hang on to a 1-0 lead and trying to beat Washington State for the first time since 2011. Back in 2011, Graham Abel would have been wearing crimson and gray as he was on the Washington State staff as an assistant. And the Cougars have been aggressive. See 3 of the 4 backline defenders for Washington State there, Maness, Rican, and Tappan. And the Cougars have pressed up strongly into the midfield. They've put a lot of pressure on Oregon. That's led to the opportunities that the Cougars have had to generate shots later in that first half. But we'll see how the second half shakes out. Washington State started without Margie DeTrizio tonight. She is on the field to open half number 2, as is Mackenzie Frimpong-Ellertson, who finished the first half with DeTrizio for the Cougars. Oregon, from the looks of it, has returned back to the original starting 11. And Leah Freeman able to eat a little time before she works over for a kick away from net here. So next thing on the minds of the Ducks is probably to generate some more opportunities, as you would hate to put the pressure for 7 more saves on Leah Freeman, even though she likely could handle it. Maness cleared that, but it's a corner for Oregon. First corner kick coming for the Ducks here tonight. Maness, you can tell, was a little upset once she cleared that right out the end line. That was an easy corner for Oregon. So the Ducks setting it up. Barbieri might have touched it. Romero trying to keep it at the 18. Tappan. And she is right place, right time. And now DeTrizio trying to turn it to a counter for Washington State. The junior has some serious speed. And she works that around Soto into the box. Left-footed shot. DeTrizio was already whistled offside. Or they just say shot wide. Thought the whistle came up. That was just a wide shot for DeTrizio. Did all that work to get down there. She nearly worked her way back into goal-scoring position. Really tremendous effort by Margie DeTrizio here. And even with Soto doing everything she could, DeTrizio just wide. Grayson Lynch a little ahead of steam. Ended up being fought out of there by, it looked like Rucker along the far sideline. Frimpong Ellerson, a lot of space. Lynch was trying to get to it, did. It went off Phillips. And Cortez able to keep it forward for Romero. Still, though, the Cougars putting tons of pressure in the midfield. Really daring Oregon to build possession. It results in some passes off target and a Washington State throw-in. Cougars who have outshot their opponents by 171 this year, counting tonight's shots. Nobody home on the back end for Washington State. The tough part for the Cougars right now, though, is they are facing 2 consecutive losses for the first time since the April COVID rescheduled season when they fell to UCLA and USC back in 2021. So all of last year, the Cougars never had 2 consecutive losses. They suffered that last weekend, Cal and Stanford. And trying to avoid 3 straight with Oregon jumping out to a lead in the 10th minute tonight. DeTrizio, how about this to get back on her feet? Now with some room, DeTrizio, one more step. Her shot high. And Margie DeTrizio, the athleticism to slide down to the turf and get back up to the ball. Very impressive. That's why she is such a dynamic player for the Cougs. You see it here, just spinning on a dime. Washington State has a chance to put a little pressure on here again. Frimpong Ellerson chipping it. McReynolds, Freeman comes out to punch it away. Again, the timing perfection for Leah Freeman to get her Ducks out of trouble. Frimpong Ellerson trying to stay with it for Washington State. Crosses another. Soto had it touched up. Sydney Studer has to race back to it. Sydney Studer, end line cross. Backside McReynolds, she didn't have the height advantage there. Boyden has to chase it all the way to the corner. Boyden crosses. Lynch driving it high, a goal kick coming. Three shots that haven't landed on frame to open the second half for Washington State. But the Cougars continue to put pressure on the Duck net. Soto chips it into the Washington State bench. Seven saves for Leah Freeman. Wasn't a shot on the one that she came out and punched out of there, but it was an important play nonetheless. And she is trying to deliver big time for her Ducks tonight. Lynch, McReynolds one-timed it. Morales trying to clear it out. Frimpong Ellerson, lots of room to turn. Does with Turner. Turner racing into a crowd, out to Boyden. Boyden being marked by 2. Still tries to split as a third defender comes into the fray. See if the Cougars flip it. They do. Maness earns a little space for Frimpong Ellertson. And a nice tackle to get it out of there by Barbieri. Now it slips through. McReynolds. Ball's free. Tetrizio. She drives it home. And we're tied. You can't keep her quiet for long. Margie Tetrizio, 8th goal of the season. New game here in the 53rd minute. Leah Freeman did everything she could. Barbieri, great start to the play defensively for Oregon. But Washington State able to capitalize on a second opportunity. It started from Micaiah Maness. She fed high to Frimpong Ellertson, and how about Tappan heading it back into the area. Freeman raced out to it, but it came free to Margie Tetrizio to tie the match at 1. 53rd minute goal, Tetrizio, 1-1 our score. And Oregon trying to generate a shot opportunity. Washington State, 15 unanswered shots after the Ducks had the first 4 tonight. And the 8th shot on goal for Washington State finally finds Twine. Brandon McReynolds, little space. She got a pinpoint pass from Maness. Lynch is dangerous from distance. Tries to burst end line. Freeman gets a paw on it. It's still loose. Up to Sydney Studer in traffic. It's pinballing around. And Oregon manages to escape that Washington State opportunity. Now the Cougars really have it jammed down on the gas pedal here to start the second half. Maness. And line. Ooh, she tossed a defender. Corner kick was signaled.
And that's another Cougar corner kick.
5th corner kick for Washington State now tonight. Bridget Reekin for Washington State has found success on these corners this year. Cougars go short. They like to set up Lynch from this spot, especially going with her right foot. Ball still being headed around. It's going to come back for a Washington State throw-in. Cortez ended up being the one to give Oregon a chance to reorganize. Boyden, Frimpong Ellertson. This is a long shot. Freeman, sure-handed catch. See if Freeman can use that excellent leg to spring Oregon forward. Instead, she sets it down. Still knocks a dart down onto Washington State's far side where Tappan will throw it in. So the Cougars tonight started without Tetrizio, but she comes back in the 53rd minute to collect an important equalizer. Foul by Barbieri. And the Cougars get a quick reset off of it. Now the focus for Washington State turns to turning this pressure into a second goal and a lead. After about the first 15 minutes, the Cougars have really found their groove in the midfield. Tetrizio, short play to Boyden, and Boyden one-timed it too high. Lily Boyden getting the start tonight. still in search of her first Pac-12 conference goal. The freshman from Salt Lake City does have a goal and 3 assists this year. Cougars another takeaway. Brianna McReynolds, she's going to try from distance, takes Freeman far post, diving stop. Will qualify as a save for Freeman, her 8th. Looking back at this, again, WSU picking off a play courtesy of Grayson Lynch. And McReynolds trying to put a good angle on it, but as we said, Freeman on anything from distance, she's going to do really well there. You're looking for a rebound or second shot opportunity if you're Washington State in those spots. Whistle came on the throw-in foul against Cortez. Officials trying to set up exactly where it occurred near the sideline. Bridget Reekin will take it for WSU. Boyden, quick to the end line. Cortez there. Boyden tried to chip it in. Nice job by Morales to keep it wide for a throw instead of giving WSU another corner opportunity. Lynch is going to attract 3 defenders. Oh, big reversal on the end line. Boyden rattles it around, takes a shot. Soto touched it once. Boyden deflected it under Morales, and then Freeman with the save. We're 15 minutes into the second half, and it has been all Washington State, an 8-0 shot advantage in half number 2, and a bulk of the possession for the Cougars as well. This is turning into a classic offensive showing for Washington State. Oregon to Romero from Hassenauer. Best opportunity of late for the Ducks. And Reekin got in the way of it. It will be a corner for Oregon, the second for the visitors from the Willamette Valley tonight. Can see both teams a little gassed right now. Oregon has been chasing Washington State all over the field here in half number 2, trying to slow down the Cougars in space. Corner kick for the Ducks. Up at the top. It was taken by Morales, but wide. Morales scored the 10th minute goal for Oregon. Answered by Margie DeTrizio in the 53rd. And 1-1 our score with 29 minutes to play here tonight in Pullman, Washington. Sydney Studer, high volley. Again, the Cougars springing to space. McReynolds, it's a misplay. DeTrizio, oh, she couldn't get a good foot to it. She wanted that opportunity back. Ball got misplayed right to the feet of DeTrizio, and the
now in for the Cougars, number 16.
substitution comes for Washington State in the form of Alyssa Gray. Alyssa Gray for Brianna McReynolds. Throw in for the Cougars. Turner keeps it down. Back to Turner from Frimpong Ellertson. Freeman scrambling to it and pulls it back within reach. Frimpong Ellertson thought she was going to get to a loose ball. Freeman sending it big upfield again. And Maness and Romero foul against Romero as we look back at this last opportunity from Turner. Good wingspan for Freeman to pull it back in, keep it away from the Cougars. Oh, Alyssa Gray dekes a defender. Barbieri stepped into it. Now Lynch for Wazoo. Frimpong Ellertson. Barbieri again poked it free. She's been busy this time down for the Cougars. Gray trying to get around Romero to the end line, but she just fired it wide. We mentioned Washington State's rarity of dropping 2 consecutive matches. How about a rarity for Oregon? Last Sunday, the road loss at Colorado was the Ducks' first road loss since October 3rd of last year at Stanford. Oregon was 3-0 with 4 draws since early October of last year before Sunday. And the Ducks putting up another road showing tonight. So far playing even on the scoreboard with Washington State. Cougar team that was preseason picked 3rd in the pack. They came in 5th tonight. Gray settling it down. Knocked it off of Morales. It was cleaned out of there by Emperor. No, Raleigh make it. Tap in. A little space from Frimpong Ellertson. Used the heel, but Cortez will spin it out of there. Rican doing everything she can to hold it in for the Cougars. They have space to Boyden. Boyden across. Far sign off Emperor. Corner kick coming for WSU.
And that's another Cougar corner kick.
Oregon's now gotten a couple shots here in the second half. Washington State 19 shots to 6 for Oregon. Frimpong Ellertson has the height to keep it in. Maness. Boyden. Frimpong Ellertson. Wants to get it back to her left foot. Boyden's got a chance now. And she gets hedged off. Nice work by Cortez. Maness flings it in there. Freeman a catch. Crashing to the turf. More excellent hands showcased by Leah Freeman here tonight. Oregon still trying to build possession. Pretty combination. Hasenauer to Emperor. Emperor weaving through Washington State traffic. Hasenauer, pretty footwork. Goes wide, Romero. Romero set up the first goal for Oregon in the 10th minute. Crosses here. Cooper takes some contact from Morales, but emerges for Wazoo. And this is where they like to play the big ball forward and see if the athletic forwards can make something happen. It's Gray out of the wide side. Trying to get it to a right foot. She does. Freeman slaps it out of there. Dutrizio crosses back. Lynch glanced the side of the forehead. Gray along the end line. Freeman tangled up with Lynch, and it's Lynch whistled for colliding with the Oregon goalkeeper of Leah Freeman. Not a stress-free night by any means for Leah Freeman. We start on the other end for the Ducks. Romero trying to create a second goal opportunity, and Morales was right in the area, but Cooper coming out of there strong. Cooper's only had one save tonight on 6 Oregon shots. The Cougars have mostly kept Oregon out of the box. Grayson Lynch off of Raleigh for a Cougar corner kick, 7th for Washington State.
Cougar corner kick.
Lynch working hard in the second half.
Now in for the Cougars, number 13.
Will get a spell.
Brianna McReynolds.
As will Lily Boyden, Brianna McReynolds, and Akila McLinn come back for
20,
WSU.
Akila McLinn.
See how the Cougars set it up with 22 minutes to play. Margie DeTrizio tried to get up for it. She took a hard collision. Ball's still free. Morales turned around by McLinn. Miness tries to serve middle. Sydney Studer wanted it with a left foot, but couldn't get good contact to it. Subs for both sides. Marion Wilden back for WSU. Caitlin Picolba back for Oregon.
Now in for the Cougars,
It'll be a break for Kess Elmore. Wilden comes in for Frimpong Ellertson for WSU. They'll get her a breather. Try to put some life back in the legs here to the final 20 minutes. One match weekend for these two sides. They can leave it all on the line tonight in Pullman on a beautiful Friday night in October for women's college soccer. We've had a dandy of a match tonight, a 1-1 even on the scoreboard, but a very stressful night for Oregon defensively, and they have stood strong against 21 shots from WSU. The Ducks have generated some good opportunities as well. They're looking for one more big counter. Washington State has been good in possession tonight. And they build left flank with Miness. Gray in there. Phillips settled it, tried to clear it. That Cougar backline's pressed so far up, though. They play it in the midfield, and they've been holding it in for WSU all night. 20 minutes to go here tonight on the Palouse. At stake for Oregon, trying to find their first win against WSU since 2011. The Cougars trying to avoid 3 straight losses in Pac-12 play, and they really want to get back on with a winning decision. Tomorrow on Pac-12 Insider, or excuse me, next week on Pac-12 Arizona, more women's college soccer, WSU and Arizona State. Arizona schools will make their way to Pullman next week. Oregon will get to go home after this road trip, take on Cal and Stanford. Barbieri quickly working over to get the ball away from DeTrizio. Tomorrow on Pac-12 Insider, it is swimming. California and Washington State from over at Gibb Pool, 10 a.m. The 9th-ranked Golden Bears, perennial top talent in the Pac-12, make their way to Pullman. DeTrizio on a misplayed ball. Oh, dangerous for Oregon. But she didn't have enough time to get it on frame. Crisis averted there for the Ducks. Big bounding ball back towards Leah Freeman. Bell Raleigh tried to head it, and it was nearly disaster to Margie DeTrizio. Reekin in the midfield, though. Again, you know, Oregon has so many back to protect against the top of the Washington State attack that the back four and the holding mids for WSU really have a lot of room to set things up and work possessions. There's really just two back for Oregon in those spots. And they're trying to play back and stop some of the athleticism of the Cougar forwards. Whistle along the far side. Gray was tripped up. Fouls very even tonight. 6 to either side. Heading towards crunch time. Mentioned for Oregon the end of a 3-match road stretch that started at the Mountain Schools last weekend. Alyssa Gray takes the kick for WSU. Sydney Studer launched it high. Reekin heads it right to Freeman. Save number 11 for Leah Freeman. She is the reason this match is tied at 1. And she's going to nearly go goal kick keeper to keeper. DeTrizio. Boy, almost a beautiful ball headed on to McReynolds. Instead, it's Rucker who is funneled back. Little combination trying to spring Morales free. Ball dies on DeTrizio, but she wins a foot race to it with Romero. The difference in college soccer this year, Oregon knows all about it. 4 draws, and draws now only take 90 minutes with the elimination of regular season overtime in men's and women's college soccer this year. And on a weekend like this, when both teams only have one match, a shame that they can only go 90. There's been a ton of energy expended tonight. Trinity Morales to the bench for Ainsley Fink. Boy, Pakolba showing off those jets. Tappan just gets it rolled out by Cooper. Pakolba covered a lot of ground for Oregon. We mentioned a former 100-meter champion. Tappan, a little room to find some help, and we'll go back through Reekin. Cougars give it to their keeper who can see the whole field. 15 minutes to go. Washington State scored 22 minutes ago to knot the match at 1. Still keep away along the Cougar back. DeTrizio just trying to get a light touch forward. Sydney Studer, nice job to stop it with the underside of the cleats. McLinn spins it around back to Tappan. Tappan loves to serve from that spot. DeTrizio is on the backside, but Oregon got it out of there thanks to the work of Rucker. And Rucker stepped through another one. Hasenauer trying to work it the other way. Both sides calling for a foul, and Romero tripped up by Turner, and this will elicit a card. Lexi Romero looked to have an opportunity to start running free for the Ducks. A yellow card for Lindsey Turner. A yellow card by Turner took away a near opportunity for Romero to carry on free towards net. You never want a yellow card, but that does, at least for that moment, eliminate the breakaway for Washington State. They make a substitution, bringing on Jenna Studer.
Now in for the Cougars, number 33, Jenna Studer.
Cougars trying to protect Turner now, who has that yellow card. They don't want her to draw a double yellow and get into some trouble here late with less than 14 minutes to go tonight.
In for Oregon, number 14, Caitlin Shaw.
Oregon brings in Caitlin Shaw. Barbieri goes right to Hasenauer, top of the box. Studer turned her back to the play and was able to deflect the shot opportunity. Phillips trying to help Oregon generate its best chance in quite some time. Cortez was trying to cross it in. Phillips again holds it in from high. Picked off by Sydney Studer. Alyssa Gray, plenty of room. She will carry on. Looking wide for Studer. Does Studer have the steps to get there? Yes, right in front of the flag. And she wanted to leave it behind for Alyssa Gray. Miscommunication between Studer and Gray. Lost opportunity for Washington State on the attack there. Jenna Studer really challenging Pekolba hard. Hasenauer. Now Cortez. Cortez has it worked away by McLean. Oregon trying to probe for an offensive opportunity. Subs will come here.
Now in for the Cougars, number 4.
It's 4 of them for Washington State.
Number 17.
Grayson Lynch, Lily Boyden, Mackenzie Frimpong-Ellertson, and Lindsey Turner. All return. Turner playing with that yellow card.
And number 12, Lindsey Turner.
So Todd Schulenberger gonna push all of his chips on the table here in the final 12 minutes and see if he can get a couple of these goal scorers loose to try to nab a second half comeback. Washington State has had 2 draws this year, 1 in Pac-12 play. Vanessa up ahead. DeTrizio directs to Boyden with fresh legs. Boyden out wide. McReynolds calling for it. Soto clears it for a throw in right into the Cougar crowd. Right into the Cougar band. Kind of some giggles for Soto heading back in front of net. Washington State drumline camped out down there in the corner. Senior defender, though, has been big in helping out Leah Freeman. And the 23 shots that the Ducks have faced. Little extra hand out there with Elmore trying to come the other way, and Washington State was called for the foul. Alice Barbieri setting up the free kick. What a pleasure to be with you in Pullman tonight for this one. High level Pac-12 women's soccer tonight. Important match for both teams. Both in the top 45 of the national RPI picture. Oregon still has some more matches against top 35 RPI teams coming up. We mentioned Cal, Stanford, Arizona State. That was off a tap-in. Corner kick here for the Ducks. Mighty important night tonight for these two teams. And Oregon, here comes the third corner kick. Out wide side, Phillips going to chase it down. Bouncing through. Oh, opportunity just missed high. The Ducks set up the shot opportunity for Kess Elmore, who had a short breather. And that cross nearly perfect for Oregon. And Elmore just wished that she was able to settle it. Just over 8 minutes to go now tonight. DeTrizio, this is how she likes to play it on the spin, keeps it in front. Lynch stepped away. A nice play by Rucker. Elmore, no whistle comes for a handball. Official said it's off the left shoulder. And Lynch trying to step one away. But Rucker picked off by Turner. Cougars a countering opportunity. Lynch has even numbers coming the other way. To the end line, Lynch crosses it, DeTrizio! Wanted to angle it back post. So tricky. Wasn't trying to put much on it, just wanted the foot to redirect that ball in front of net. What a job by Lynch just to set it up. Rican held it in for Mackay-Maness. Just feels like these two teams aren't done applying the pressure here tonight. 7 minutes to go. But Kolba picks one away for Hassenauer. And Turner quick to close the gap. And flies back to it for Maness. Big ball up here forward for McReynolds and DeTrizio. McReynolds glanced it once. Fink turning it around. And McReynolds came right back into the play. Gets it on back from Lynch. McReynolds, a little too heavy in front. Now Lynch's shot, and that's wide. It had Freeman scrambling. Nothing she could do but watch it sail wide. And just off target for Lynch and the Cougars.
Now in for the Cougars, number 34.
25 shots by Washington State, and they bring back Sydney Studer now in the final 6 minutes. Oregon is hanging on. Now maybe just looking for a result against this barrage of shots from Washington State. Tappan offers it back where the Cougars have a little room to build. Cougars had a late goal to win in Eugene the last time these two teams met last year. 89th minute for Elise Bennett, who's now playing pro ball. Do the Cougars have late magic again this year? DeTrizio back high with Turner. It comes back to DeTrizio, and the flag is up. DeTrizio is offside. 5 minutes to go. Washington State trying to open a 3-match home streak with a victory. The officials urging Leah Freeman to kick it away from net. Sydney Studer was the first to it. DeTrizio going to settle it down out to Boyden. Boyden looking back high with Turner. Sydney Studer's there as well. There she comes back out to Boyden. Boyden dancing in traffic. Turner back into the area. Tappan gets it right on back from Turner. Tappan into Boyden. Again, Soto having to try to get it out of there. Boyden desperately holding it in. Soto, a shove in the box. Crowd wants a call, no whistle comes. Throw in for Washington State with 6 minutes left. Inside of the box. Boy, Soto and Boyden got locked up. Washington State could reverse field. Rican will do just that. Well, this game getting down to its final moments. All square at 1. Emperador coming out with it far side for Oregon. Elmore trying to run to space. Hasenauer does see Elmore. Back through the middle. Here comes Romero. Romero has it on her right side, but the flag's up against Oregon this time. Emperador was offsides, trying to streak into some open space. Cooper hits the deck, kicking that away from net. But Grayson Lynch able to keep it forward for Washington State. Brandon McReynolds. 2 minutes and 45 left. McReynolds out to Boyden. Boyden trying to put the moves on. Gets a left-footed shot. Was placing it, in fact, for DeTrizio. But no connection made between Boyden and DeTrizio. Turner keeping possession. Now so critical for Washington State. 2:20 left to go. Lynch crosses. It gets to DeTrizio. In between 5. McReynolds tries to sprawl to it. And Oregon clears again. It stays on the attacking third for WSU. Now under 2 minutes to go. Maness right back to Lynch. Could be the same look again if the Cougars get across. Lynch tried to save it, but it's wide. And now Leah Freeman will take a little time. Washington State didn't want just a result tonight. They wanted to get back in the win column. Oregon trying to hang on for a big road finish here. McReynolds gets wiped out by Emperador. Clock stops. Both players are in pain along the side.
1 minute remaining in the half. 1 minute.
Emperador ended up underneath McReynolds. Both players are immediately grabbing to their heads. With the clock at 89:02, it will be Washington State possession. Right now, the attention turns to both of these young players to see if they are all right. Looks like McReynolds will be up for Washington State, and now the same for Anna Emperador. Good to see both up under their own power and all right. And now 58 seconds left to play tonight. A foul was initially signaled against Oregon. Todd Schulenberger asking for an explanation. Washington State, though, is heading back into a defensive positioning. We'll see if it's just that Oregon's going to restart it back to WSU here. So it will be Oregon and Alice Barbieri with 58 seconds. And now Washington State, everything's going to be forward here for the Cougars. They've got little time left to try to mount a last-minute attack. Hasenauer got out of some traffic. And now Turner has to try to turn it. 35 ticks left. DeTrizio in a little bit of space. Oregon, though, has plenty of eyes on her. It goes to the freshman Boyden. Boyden took a shot from distance. Oh, it rattles around. Lynch now settles it. Lynch, a shot wide. And there are not many ticks left. In fact, that's probably going to do it in Pullman tonight. The Cougars got one more opportunity in front of net. 27 shots tonight, but only one finds its home. And Oregon had the early goal, but 11 saves from Leah Freeman secures a draw tonight for the Ducks against the Cougars. A 1-1 final tonight in Pullman. Oregon moves to 4-5-5, 2-3-1 in Pac-12 play. Washington State 8-3-3, 2-2-2 in Pac-12 play. For Jared Prengruber, the rest of our Pac-12 crew here tonight from Pullman, this is Trevor Williams saying so long. Ducks and Cougars play to a draw, 1-1 over 90 minutes tonight. And we'll see you back next week for more Pac-12 soccer on Pac-12 Arizona when Washington State meets Arizona State, and they're swimming tomorrow as well on Pac-12 Insider. So long tonight from Pullman, a 1-1 draw, the final.